G'day folks. Well, this puzzle is called the, actually who knows, because, and please excuse me while I go and just click on my other computer to help me here, but for example, if I go to the cubicle and I search for Clover Pyraminx, this puzzle does come up. It's a Qiyi or Qiyi, Qiyi puzzle. By the way, this is not a review, it's a solve. I just want to talk about it at the beginning. What also comes up at the cubicle is another puzzle called the Clover Pyraminx, but it's by 𝙏𝙏𝙄𝙎, and it looks different. And that got me thinking, what is this? Because if you then go to somewhere like, let me think, let's have a look at 𝙃𝙃𝙄𝙎. At 𝙃𝙃𝙄, they call this one the Clover Pyramid, presumably to distinguish it from the 𝙏𝙏𝙄𝙎 Clover Pyraminx. So, okay, so it's the Clover Pyraminx or the Clover Pyramid. If you go, where haven't I been yet? If you go to cubes, cubes are calling this one the Clover Pyraminx, and they're calling the other one the 𝙏𝙏𝙄𝙎 Clover Pyraminx. So everybody's got problems with the names here. And I guess the last place I've got the 𝙏𝙏𝙄 one. If you go to Now Store, they're calling that the Curvy Pyraminx. And I don't even know if they sell this other one. Let me have a quick look. I can't see it on there. I'm sure they do. I just don't know where it is. So I guess what it is really is a pyramid type puzzle or a Pyraminx type puzzle, and it appears to have the clover thing. So it's been named the Clover Pyraminx. That's a little unfortunate because when you think of a clover cube, you think of this sort of thing. This is the master clover cube, and it's these little, almost these petal-like things here, which I think give it the clover sort of name. Well, this is a fascinating puzzle, and initially it looks like it's a crazy thing. What it actually is a shape mod of that. It's a 3x3 shape mod. One of the reasons that I want to talk about it at the start is to give some bearings and understanding as to what you're looking for when you solve it. So if it is a 3x3 shape mod, and I'll admit I didn't initially see this. When I first scrambled it, I was like, this is a very cheap puzzle, so I was expecting kind of nothing from it. And I started scrambling it and went, whoa, what is going on here? This is crazy. And it just very quickly becomes extremely shape-shifted, and you're just looking at a monstrosity. So it wasn't until I looked at the type of pieces that we have that I was able to convince myself, okay, yeah, we are dealing with a 3x3 shape mod. So what happens on a normal 3x3 cube? Well, the first obvious thing is that we have 6 centers, and those centers rotate in place. They don't move anywhere. As an example of something that does move somewhere is that corner. That leaves its position. The centers do not. So do we have some pieces like that on here? Well, we do. We see that piece there. You can see that all it is doing is rotating in place. It's not moving anywhere. The difference, of course, is that it has 2 colors on that center. So suddenly there's a bit of orientation. So normally, on a normal Rubik's Cube, you would not see any difference. On a supercube, you might. In fact, you would, because an arrow or whatever would be pointing in a different direction. Now, you can kind of just do 180 turns on this, but because it is a 3x3 shape mod, you can also do 90-degree turns. And that's what I mean by this has a different orientation for each possible turn. And as soon as I do that, I get another turn. So they are our centers. Do I have 6 of them? Well, let's say that this is the first one. If I was to hold this like that, I can see another one up here, so that's 2, and then I've got 3, 4, and then at the back I've got 5 and 6. So there do appear to be 6 centers. Okay, what about on a 3x3? Surrounding the center and touching the center are 4 edges. So what do we see on here? Well, if I just take this center here, it's very clear to see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 edges touching that center. And when you turn the center, in other words, the face of the cube, those edges move with it. So if I turn this here, now clearly we also have some corners moving. I'll get to them in a minute. So I do that, I've got the edges turning. Now, what's very interesting about this particular puzzle, apart from the fact that it doesn't look like a 3x3 shape mod, is that on this, I turn that center and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 corners turning. Well, the only other piece must be these things here, those little things here. When I turn that, there are only 2 of them. So this is where it gets very, very strange. Now what's happening is that if I just show that, you'll see a blue piece sitting in there. And that blue piece is the same piece whether I turn this or this, or this. Makes no difference. That's a single piece there. And that is a hidden corner. So that's the third and fourth corners connected with this center. But of course, they're also connected with this center. So that corner is connected, just like this one here is connected with this center, and this center. It's the same. So once you have that understanding of what's happening, you realize, so I can actually solve it as a 3 by 3. Yes, you can, but this is such a good shape mold that it is very difficult to do it. It is very easy to get lost. And when it is properly scrambled, there's no way you'd pick it as being a 3 by 3. So with that background, what I want to do is scramble it and then take you through how I would go about solving it in the same manner that I would solve a 3 by 3 cube. Okay, so let's go ahead. The last thing that I will say, by the way, is the positioning of these corners. When I first got it, I didn't check the color of these hidden corners. So I scrambled it, and then I was not entirely sure as to what goes where. However, there is one of each color. And so I just assumed, I hope this is right, that the yellow hidden corner here should be on this apex opposite the yellow face. To me, that makes sense. In the same way, this is the pink face, so up here there should be a pink hidden corner. Hope that's right. I'm pretty sure it is. All right, let's scramble away and see what we can get. There's no real need to sort of do 180 turns first or anything like that, because as you can see very quickly, it's gone a little bit mental. All right, there we go. That's a reasonable scramble. And as you can see, the first thing is just looking at, I've shown the shape of it at the beginning of the video, but if you didn't know the shape, it wouldn't be entirely obvious what you should do. So it is a Clover Pyraminx, so that's what we would think about doing, is trying to get it into some kind of Pyraminx shape. And what we discover is that as we do try and do that, it simplifies things quite a bit already. So let's say that I start with, trying to get the pink side. I would say, well, initially I might look here and say, well, there's pink and pink here. Now that would have to be pink, but this is a center, so there's no way that can move. So I've obviously got this on the incorrect side, and I see there's a pink up here, but it doesn't quite look like it should be there. If that's a pink as well, what's going on here? So that now means I've got to do something about rotating these things until I get something like that. So at least I've got kind of, if you like, the base of it. I can't even do the base because of these things sticking out there. But let's just now check and continue, because what I should find once I've got the first one done is that the remainder fairly easily fall into place. And there you go. All of a sudden we're looking at a Pyraminx shape. Now, once you've done that, you just need to choose a particular side or center as your white cross or your white face, if you like. So all through this, I'm going to be just comparing it to this as we go and making sure that it's very clear what we're doing. So if I choose this blue pink as my white center, what I'm going to be doing, and if you think about it on here, what I would first do is do the white cross. I'd get these 4 edges around the white center. So I'm going to get the 4 edges around here. So let's first of all say, where are the blue? There's 2 blues and there's 2 pinks. None of them are done. So if I look at, say, this pink one here, I can move. The other thing about this is it's so smooth that sometimes it's great and sometimes it's just a little bit out, and you have to really, you kind of knock little bits out and it won't turn. So just be aware of that. If you've got it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If I move that down to there, it doesn't really do what I want it to do. If I kind of move it like that, it does go into position, but of course I've rotated the center and that's no good. So what I'm doing is putting that to there and then replacing this with a third piece of some kind. So perhaps I can use the piece that's sitting here. So I would just rotate that into position, third piece in, and then undo, undo. So what am I doing there? I'm basically saying, well, this is going to there. Well, I want to use that as a third piece. So I rotate that into position, use a third piece, undo, undo. So that is all I'm doing. at this stage. So I've placed that edge. Let's see if I can find maybe another pink one. And please note, that's not a pink edge, that's the edge. So all of these things here sort of sticking up are edges, and actually hidden in there is a corner, which we can't see at the moment. That is a hidden corner because it's in the position of a normal corner. It's in the position of one of these central bits. Okay, let's see now. There's a pink over here. So if I temporarily just turn that to that position, I'm then thinking, can I do something to get one of these into this position? So maybe I might actually do that and see if that makes it easier. It actually makes it a lot easier because I can grab this one and just do a 180 to put it over there. And then use a third piece, which I've not yet used. So let's put that into position. Use this yellow piece, so turn that face and then undo the moves. Undo that. And you remember that I did have that set up at the start in order to do that. So there's the second of my 4 edges. That's the second, I suppose, white cross edge. Now you can see one of these things has come out and you can actually see that little yellow corner sitting there. What's next? A blue one perhaps. Well, there's a blue sitting over here which I might be able to use. There's one here. Now the one here is probably the most obvious one because I can just turn it like that into position, and what do I need to do then? Replace it with something else. So here's an example of where you just have to get the alignment absolutely perfectly. There we go. Place it with that one, undo, undo. Okay, so that one's in. And then I need to find another one. There's one over here and there's one here. I'm not sure which of them is the better one or the easier one. Probably doesn't matter that much. Will that go in there? It will. So I can turn that into there and then perhaps use, I think I can use this one as my third piece. Let's give that a go. Turn that into there. Use that one and then undo those moves. And I am going quite slowly as I do this because, as I said at the start, it's very easy to lose your way. Okay, so what I've essentially done now is just nominated that as my white center or my first face center, and I've got the 4 edges around it. There are also 4 corners around it, 1, 2, and then some hidden ones in here. But that's essentially my white cross. So what would I do then? Well, I would turn it upside down and start making the 4 or 3 of these 4 middle layer edges. Now this is where it gets interesting, because if that is on the bottom and I hold that on the bottom, it's very clear that this on the top is my upper face, or my yellow center face if you like. So, okay, so there's clearly 4 edges there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are the other 4? Well, you can see there's one here, and therefore there's one on the opposite on the back face there. And the only other ones that we haven't done are here and here. And this is a little bit mind-bending as well, because normally we'd expect the 4 middle layer edges to be at the same vertical height. But these 2 are clearly lower than these 2. So what I would do is perhaps solve the 2 on the side here and then one of these ones to leave a 4th, if you like, middle layer edge free to help me solve the top edges. So let's have a look what might be simple enough to do. Don't know yet. That yellow doesn't look super simple at the moment. I could get a blue in here potentially. Let's see if I move that to there and that blue down, that does not place correctly. You can see if I did that, it would actually be essentially flipped. So I'm not going to do that move at the moment. I'm going to just try doing something else. What is another one? A green one here. Could I manage a green? Well, I could certainly turn that. Now does that, again, that's going to turn around to be flipped. So I would look at bringing that in a different way or using a different green. This one. That also is going to be flipped. Well, maybe it's not a bad time to show you how you deal with flipped edges. Maybe I should do that. All right, I'll do that. So I'll just put this green edge into this position and I'll replace it with the blue. So I'll put the edge like that. So I think, yeah, I have just turned that 180 and then replace it with that one, 180, turn it back. So I always keep the centers where they are. Now you'll notice there that the green belongs in here, but it's sticking upwards. It should be sitting down flat. The same thing has happened with the yellow. It doesn't belong there, but it is sticking upwards. So we've got this situation where we've got two edges that are flipped. Now, on a Rubik's Cube, what would I do? If I wanted to flip, say, the white blue and the white orange, what I would be doing would be, I know that this one won't. I'd use the very standard edge flipping thing that I would use, which is a down, down, up, up, to put that white blue in the middle, and then go and get it by turning its position across here, putting it onto its position, and undoing those turns. You can see that hasn't touched. Those two are flipped. That is precisely the sort of thing that I want to do here. Where are my two edges that need flipping? Very quickly lost my bearings. Yellow, green, I think they were they not? Okay, so here's what I can consider as a third edge, that middle layer edge, if you like. So what I need to do is do a down, down, up, up, okay? And then I want to now turn the position that I require across to there, bring this face up to there, and then undo those moves. Now the really important thing is that you'll notice that the yellow and the green are now laying flat. They were both sticking up before. So that's what we can do to get edges correctly oriented in their position. Now where on earth was I? The blue-red was the one that I'd started with. That was my white center, if you like. So I think what I've done is got one of these. I've still got, in fact, I've got that one as well, which is another middle layer edge. So what I need to do now is place a yellow one into here. So got a few that I could choose from. What if I can end up with a flipped one quite easily. What if let's just try something. We'll just see if I turn that to there and then, I can get this one. I think, no, that's going to flip it. Okay, interesting. What if I turn this one? Yes, and then undo, undo. I'm pretty happy with that. So that has placed, let's get our bearings. There's the white center. There's one middle layer edge, two middle layer edges, three middle layer edges, and here's the fourth middle layer edge. And I'm going to use this now to try and place the last four on the top. This is now my top face. So my edges are nearly done. Now, what I would normally do, again, on a Rubik's Cube, is to use this fourth middle layer edge and get the back two, so I'm left with three sitting here. Well, that's what I'm going to do here. So this is the one, I want to be left with these other two sitting here, which means going to try and place a yellow one into there and a green one into there. Well, first of all, let's get a yellow one placed. That's fairly straightforward. I can turn a green across to here and then bring the yellow position around, undo, undo. There we go, the yellow one's in. Now what about a green back in there? I might have to flip it, but we'll see. If I turn like that, can I then turn that up? No. What if I do another turn and turn it that way? I like it. Undo and undo. Okay, good. So where I'm at, I've actually got three edges remaining. Doesn't look like it. It looks like, in fact, what I really have is a 3 cycle, but two edges are in position and need to be flipped. Now I'll show you how to do that. I'll do that right now because we've just done it before and it's the same thing, but you can tell that they need to be flipped because they're sticking up. They should be laying flat. But of course I could get a 3 cycle as well. Let's deal with this first and let's flip these two edges in position. So here's my other third edge. So I'm going to do down, down, up, align, up. And then I'm going to move the position across, turn the piece on and undo those two moves. you can see, lovely jubbly, those edges are now sitting flat. So in this case, that was my original one, all the edges are now actually done. Now, of course, it might turn out that you get some other kind of 3 cycle. Let me just set up for 1 or 2 of them. Okay, well, here's a fairly straightforward one. In terms of, you would be saying, well, there's clearly a 3 cycle. I've got a yellow here that's got to go there, the green's got to go here, the pink's got to go here. The only thing really to think about is which piece do I turn first and which is sort of my third piece. So what you'll do is you'll think, well, if I turn the pink onto here, that places correctly. Okay, what about the yellow? Oh, that does not place correctly. What about the green? That does place correctly. So I'm looking for the 2 pieces that place correctly, and it's the green and the pink. And because I know that the direction needs to be green to pink to yellow, what that tells me is that I turn my green first onto here, and that yellow is the piece that's going to flip, so that turns second. So basically I would go, right, turn that to there, turn the yellow up, undo, undo. And you can see that's fairly straightforward, and that's done. Let's see if there's another one that I can set up for. Well, this is probably the hardest case that you might come across because it's strange. It looks as though you've got a yellow to here, a green to here. We've got a swap of 2 edges, but on a normal Rubik's Cube, if we had that, we would simply turn the upper face 1 turn and resolve. But if we do that here, our center is completely out, so we can't do that. So what's actually happening is it's really a 3 cycle, and we need to involve a 3rd piece of one of the colors. So as an example, I might, for this one, to keep it easy, I would probably just go, let's just get the pieces into the correct location. So I know if I use another yellow piece like that, I bring this one into play, I know that's got to go there, the green's got to go here, the yellow has got to go back to here. So I would do that first. That's done. Now, it so happens there that I've actually managed to orient them, but if I didn't, what would happen is that, for example, I might have a green and a yellow here that was standing up. They would be flipped, and we already know how to deal with that. So that would be the hardest case that I can think of. So at this point, all of the edges are done. Now, the last stage of this solve is to do the corners. And what you want to look for is basically, I'm still going to use the corner piece series. So if I look on this cube and I say, well, I'd like to rotate these 3 corners, or not rotate, to actually permute them, so move them around like that, I would do the very standard corner piece series, and I would just be going up, right. I won't even say it because it's in my description and there's a video link, and you can see none of the edges have been touched, but those 3 corners have moved around. That's all I'm going to do here, but it is quite a bit more difficult because you've kind of got to get the angles right and understand what's moving where. So let's attempt initially to place this hidden pink corner. According to my theory, if that's the pink face, it's got to go up here. So there must be some other little corner sitting in there. Oh, no, there must not, of course. There could be another hidden corner of a different color. And in that case, there is. It's a blue one, which has to go down here. So let's move this to here. Now, if I move that to there, I've got a 3rd piece here that is not placed, so I can use that as well. So I'm going to move this corner to here, this corner to here, and this will be the 3rd corner that kind of goes like that. So it's as if on a cube, I'll try and hold this as best I can, that is going across the back of the cube, this is coming down the side of the cube. And this is why it's a little bit difficult to see. It's like the 3 corners are there, there, and there. And this 3rd one sort of goes across the diagonal. That's what's happening. Across the back, down the side, across the diagonal. So I would look at the piece movement and say, well, it's going in a clockwise direction. So I need to do first turn of the upper face being anti-clockwise to carry this one out. So I do that. Line everything up. There it is. That's lined up. I continue. what's coming back. This is where it is very easy. Let me just have a look at that again. What is very, very easy to get sidetracked. That's the one that's moved. So I'll continue, which is that way. Bring that back, undo, undo. You just saw there how close I got to stuffing that up, and that is very standard on this. It's very easy to kind of get lost in what you're doing. That's one of the things that makes it such a difficult puzzle. Well, that pink is now happily sitting there opposite its face colour. What's next? I might look at, I can see the blue has got to go to here, the green's got to go to here, and I've got this one, which I reckon's got to go down here. So I'll just leave this alone for the moment. If I have a blue and a green, I've just placed that pink, so I don't really want to use it. What's up here? Ah, a hidden central pink corner. Hopefully you can see that in there. So I'm happily able to use that one. So maybe I will do something like cycle, let's cycle the green to here, this one down to here, and the blue sort of across the diagonal to there. So this time my piece movement is an anti-clockwise piece movement, so I'm turning this center, if you like, and that's how I'm holding it, clockwise. Final turn. What on earth did I just place? That one there. The one that was here was that little pink one which has come out, and the green one's gone into there. Okay, no problem. So we've got this one up here sorted. I'm just going to try and be a little bit sensible as to what I place. That doesn't belong there. That's supposed to be a green, and I do have a green sitting here. So can I use it? I can. I can place the green in here, bring that out to here, and move this across. So again, I'd look at that kind of piece movement and say, here's my face, and away I go. Okay, all done. Again, forgotten what I was placing, that green one. All right, so I've got that still to do. Let's keep going. What is an obvious thing to place? There's a green hidden corner. If that's around here, I'll do it, I think. Ah, there it is. So what I could do here, that green hidden across to there, that red center across to here, and then put this blue one into here, which is not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. So let's do that, because I'll get two of these done. I'll get the green center done and the pink center done as well. So I'm just going to rotate it so that it is now like that. So that I've got a clockwise piece movement, so I'm turning the upper face, if you like, anti-clockwise. Okay, all done. All right, we're looking better. So I may be down to a 3 cycle. The yellow center, or it could be a 2+2 swap. That yellow hidden corner has got to go here, and there's a blue hidden corner there, which has to go here, and that yellow center has to go here. So I think that is my final 3 cycle. I'll just check the other. That's green, that's correct. That's pink, that's correct. So I'm pretty positive that's the final 3 cycle I've got to do. Now I've lost it. That yellow to there, I think the other one was over here, wasn't it? So what I need in order to do this is to have the 3 corners around one center, and I've got 2 around this center. I'd like to get the third one perhaps over to here, and the third one is sitting in this position. So if I just did a setup, moved it up there, I then think, what's supposed to be going where? Well, that blue hidden corner is supposed to go here, because that would be opposite the blue face. So, okay, so that's good. So that's got to go there. The yellow central corner is supposed to go there. And then this will need to come here because when it's there and I put it back, it is in its correct position. So that's a good setup. I just now need to look at the piece movement and say, what are we doing? That goes to there, that goes to there. Okay, so this is the center as if it was the upper face that I'm actually turning. I've got a piece movement like that. So what is this? An anti-clockwise. So I'm going to turn the upper face clockwise to begin with and complete the last of these. If I can get this aligned, this is one of the things I was mentioning, good and bad. Okay, there we go. Bring that back. Okay, now we did have that setup move, so if I turn that back, you can see that all of the visible corners, if you like, I know they're central to the faces here, but the visible corners are in position, and every one of these, that's a yellow hidden corner, which is opposite yellow, and as I said at the start, I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to be. So that is my take on solving this thing called the Clover Pyramid or Clover Pyraminx, whatever you want to call it, by Qiyi something, Mofang. I can see a little Mofang sitting there. So yeah, really good puzzle. For the price, it's an incredible puzzle. This is a very, very cheap puzzle in terms of the price. Its quality's decent enough. No real issues with the quality at all. So if you want a good 3x3 shape mod that'll bamboozle your friends, this is a good one to get. That's how I solve it. I hope that's helped, and thanks for watching.